get it.
Last, Dr. Bean.
Hello, doctor. We've got a 45-year-old male, blood type B negative, brought in by paramedics 10 minutes ago.
He's got a penetrating injury to the left chest. Yes.
All right, no.
No.
My man needs to scrub in before he goes to the operating room. There's a very strict way how this happens. First, you put on your surgeon's cap, you put on your mask, then you start washing your hands, and you do a very thorough scrub process where you disinfect and make sure you're sterile up until your elbows. Once you're sterile, you walk into the room making sure you're not making contact with anything. They then have the sterile gown for you, which you insert your hands through quite gently. Then they have their sterile gloves, and all this is a process that must be followed to a T to make sure that you don't cross-contaminate the sterile environment. So no, they don't just dress you and you run into the operating room like, all right, I'm gonna save the world. Now I know where that meme comes from, number one. Number two, you don't touch your mask when you're in the OR. That's not part of the sterile field. If you touch it, you then have to disinfect, throw everything off, and restart the whole process again. Not sterile M&Ms. What is it? What was that?
I think it's a bullet.
Oh. Oh, don't eat it. Oh, no! Because that is an M&M, and M&M is made of chocolate, and the body is warm. When it fell into the body cavity, it would automatically melt a little bit of the sugar off, and that sugar would then remain in the body and serve as a breeding ground for bacteria and sepsis for the patient once they close them up. So that is actually a really, really big problem. You should be irrigating that with some saline water stat.
It's crashing on us.
What's his pulse 38? That's no bueno. That means he's crashing.
His heart rate is dropping. We're gonna lose him.
The suture card behind Mr. Bean there is quite accurate. We do have a lot of different types of sutures for varying utilities depending on what kind of procedure you're doing.
He's slipping.
Sorry, we're losing him. I've got to get in there now. Well, doctor, you can't just... It's too dangerous. Incredible.
Heart rate is stabilizing.
By removing the bullet, you do not save the patient's life. Imagine someone got shot, it tore a hole in their arteries and their organs, and by taking out that bullet, you have not solved the problem of the fact that the patient is bleeding internally. So no, Mr. Bean didn't just save him by going,
Any kind of damage to the brain is a very sensitive thing to observe, so maybe we should just step outside and give the doctor a little room to work.
The first nurse said we shouldn't think of it as a coma, but more like a deep sleep.
Yes, that's sort of true.
Jennifer.
He talks.
Wakey, breakfast's ready. Jennifer.
Still in his bloody scrubs.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
Defibrillators are not there for you to play with or to wake patients up. They're meant literally to restart your heart. And when I say restart, it doesn't mean that if your heart is flatlining, these help it restart. What it does is it actually stops the heart and allows it to restart on its own. So it's almost like interrupting the natural rhythm of the heart. The reason we do the defibrillation is in certain instances, if a patient has an irregular rhythm to the point where it's a useless rhythm or it's going too fast, we can then control it by doing one of these very controlled shocks depending on the rhythm that we see on the monitor. And Mr. Bean, do not use the defibrillator to wake people up. He didn't say clear. What is up with that doctor's feet? Is he a genie? And I don't know what that is in the foot of his bed. If that's his EKG, my man's having a heart attack and we need to call somebody. We need to call a cardiologist because that's not normal.
Now then, let's take your temperature. In we go. Yeah.
He's gonna give himself a fever.
Right, should be ready.
This is malingering at its finest, where he's trying to pretend he's ill in order to get care from somebody else. There's actually individuals where there's Munchausen syndrome by proxy, when you have an individual who is keeping their family member sick, so they're reliant on them. I'm gonna link some resources down below just because I think it's a really interesting read.
Oh, dear.
I don't understand. She checked his temperature, he had a fever, she's rushing him to x-ray? Does she want to check if he has a pneumonia? Maybe you want to listen to his lungs first?
Right.
Oh no, is he gonna get the x-ray of his chest that they're gonna see teddy bear?
And...
First of all, a teddy bear wouldn't show up like that unless the teddy bear was made out of like metal, but otherwise you wouldn't just see an outline of the bear.
Good. Scalpel.
How about putting him to sleep? Get a little anesthesiology action in there. No, we don't sharpen our scalpels like we're going cooking. Look at the signs in the background here. Poorly to the right, healthy to the left, cured to the right, restaurant to the right. What is a poorly?
Come back here!
Hold on.
Oh, goodness me.
Again, signs, restaurant, chapel, bar, exit, down dead. First of all, what hospital has a bar? Actually, I think a Grey's Anatomy hospital might have a bar. I remember them like in the first episode, right in between of doing a procedure and being post-call, they were like, let's just go grab a drink at the bar. And then they all come back to the hospital like 10 minutes later. Where is that bar? Maybe it's in the hospital. Those are gonna be some serious burns on his hand. Oh. There's definitely an ICD-10 code. The ICD-10 is the International Classification of Diseases Manual 10, and it's gotten so specific that if I have a patient come in as a result of a fall, I can't just type in fall. I mean, I can, but it's gonna give me all these sub-definitions of like fall on concrete, fall on curb, fall in park, fall in gym, fall on grass recently mowed. I'm not even joking. I'm gonna try and find some weird ones to pop up on screen here. There's a good reason why all ambulances have a giant sign on the back of them that say, keep at least 50 yards back. So they can actually open their back door and allow the patient or help the patient, escort the patient into the hospital. Because a lot of times they're on a mobile bed. In order for that bed to come out, you can't have a car parked directly behind it. What is in it? Why does he have a tea kettle? Oh no, don't take her ticket. That's so evil. That's worse than licking the hospital floor. The dirtiest part of your body are your fingers, and everyone's touching that thing. And